48 years for absconding. This is the all-too-real nightmare Ronnie Flohr has been living the past 7 years. Causing great disappointment, his appeal was recently denied in spite of subsequent and significant changes in the law. His same offense today, escape, cannot trigger habitual charges as it did 7 years ago. Sadly, he should not have been placed on ISP parole after serving 180 days incarceration for a parole violation, thereby eliminating the possibility of escape charges. He asked his parole officer for permission to move several times, as his rental residence was sold and he needed to vacate. In addition, he had a family member in need due to medical reasons. The only option his parole officer gave him was to move to a shelter for the remaining 2 months of his ISP parole. Medical need took precedence and he moved without permission. Arrested a year and a half later without incident. None of his past offenses were grave, serious, or violent. He committed no new crimes, and he wasn't trying to hide. However, the DA in Arapahoe County at the time wanted to make an example of him. I've known Ronnie for 30 years, but only reconnected with him a year and a half ago. In this brief time, I have had my eyes opened wide to a flawed judicial system. The expense to communicate and visit with him is unjustified, as is the decision to warehouse him in a private prison rather than grant his requests to move to a facility where he could continue to progress. In spite of being given what basically amounts to a life sentence for simply moving without permission, as well as other losses, Ronnie has, unbelievably, kept a positive attitude. He has remained as productive as possible by completing every program available to him. He's never had a write-up, and he's well liked by staff and other inmates. The cost for such a grossly disproportionate, mandatory sentence is in excess of $1.5 million for a non-violent offense. In light of recent events and audits taking place, I am perplexed that a non-violent offender was placed on ISP parole over an offender with more serious crimes due to budget constraints at the time. Paperwork errors can work against an offender as well as working in their favor with devastating consequences. Our fight for his freedom continues as we reach out to the community with letters advocating for his cause. Introducing and passing legislation similar to California's Proposition 36, which would allow convicted nonviolent habitual offenders like Ronnie to appeal their sentence, would be another step in the right direction to continue the effort of reducing mass incarceration. Righting this terrible wrong would allow Ronnie to become a productive, tax-paying citizen rather than be a burden on society, as well as allow him to make up for lost time and make the most of the time he has left.